When is a piece of music finished? It's probably the most opinionated debate amongst creators, with countless arguments for how to discern when a piece of work is finished. But I'm pleased to say that I have figured it all out by myself. So here goes. Piece of music is finished when the deadline says so. It's that simple, at least in my opinion. As creatives, our limitations are our best friend, without which we might have infinite reign and thought when it comes to our creative practice, which could lead to a dangerous situation, especially in the face of progress. Now, I realize that this is the opposite of exciting, and it's an unromantic idea to put a rule on something artistic, but it does help breed productivity, which in turn allows us to become more creative with more practice in the long term. Artists need limitation. In fact, we should relish the idea of having to adhere to rules and guidelines when creating our work. If you're doing this as a hobby, then don't worry about what I'm saying. Have fun with it. But if you're seriously considering a career in video games, then understand that this mentality helps working with clients and answering briefs. After all, as video game composers, we are solving problems with a niche set of skills. A client would come to us with a problem, being they have a game and they need music for it. And they need music in this style, they need it within this time limit, and they have X amount of budget for it. We then take all this information, these guidelines, and we get the job done within them, hence solving their initial problem of not having audio for their game. So it's not any less creative because we have these restrictions and limitations before us. If anything, this forces us to become more creative because we have to figure things out with this information in front of us to the best of our ability. If you're currently working on a project, then you surely have a deadline. So my best piece of advice to you is to fall in love with this deadline. Realize that these limitations are pushing you to become better at your craft. But even if you're doing something around work, maybe just for your own education or hobby or just for fun, set yourself a deadline anyway and stick to it. If you don't get things done within that deadline, then don't worry about it. You'll get it in the next one. There'll always be a next one. Remember that being prolific is way more important than getting things right first time around. And I have a video on that exact subject in this YouTube playlist as well. And if you want to learn more about the business side of game audio and starting a career in video games, I have a mailing list link below, as well as a free course which takes about 30 minutes to finish.